Greetings, this is J.R. Dickey. Thanks for tuning in to our podcast. And by the way, don't forget our website, graceandtruth.net. I hope you're having a great day, but if not, hang with me. It's about to get better. Okay, I'm going to call this devotion Inside Out. Here we go. But rather give alms of such things as you have. Then indeed all things are clean to you. That's Luke 11:41. Now, giving alms was basically giving to the poor. This was Jesus, by the way, talking to some Pharisees. But this is a radical statement. All things are clean to you. We have to understand that the Jewish religion was bound up in traditions relating to ceremonial cleanness. You not only had to wash, but wash in a very specific way, according to traditions. For instance, in Mark 7:5, it says, Then the Pharisees and scribes asked him, Why do your disciples not walk according to the tradition of the elders, but eat bread with unwashed hands? You see, for the religious, it was all for show, all external. And today, it is the same, at least for some people who don't know any better. It's true for politicians as well, isn't it? All for show. So the discussion was about cleanness or purity, which was something of paramount importance. And we could relate it to sincerity, for which the outward show is one thing, but does not necessarily reveal the inward reality of the heart. You see, spiritual cleanliness comes from an inner change, like a clean heart, that naturally produces compassionate actions, making external rituals meaningless without it. This quote is kind of interesting. This passage illustrates a core message about true cleanliness that transcends mere actions and rituals. Jesus emphasizes the need for inward transformation, where actions like charity can purify the heart and soul, contrasting with superficial compliance to ceremonial laws. Of course, religion is all about external rituals, right? Where we worship, when we worship, how we worship. And rituals are not without value, but rituals often take on the entire essence of worship and even faith. God gave some rituals to the Jews to teach them about principles, important principles regarding and worshiping the most holy. The rituals became everything, and the principles took back seat. Well, the same is true today with the church, because we strive to fit in, and rules and rituals and such help us fake it while hoping we make it. But Jesus overthrew their tables on this by asserting that they were like deer in the headlight, so to speak, exposed as fakers with God. What he was saying is what he always said: you must be born again. You must be completely changed inwardly to be clean, that is, acceptable before God. You simply cannot get away with the outward show. Perhaps you've observed that many preachers have mastered the good show, but God knows the heart. People can be impressed with the show. They'll pay for the show. They even rave about the show. But it's still a show. That's why Jesus so often spoke of giving in such a way that even one hand would not know what the other was doing, or going into your private place to pray and to worship in sincerity. Sadly, too many today, just as then, are merely observing the rituals, most of which are man-made. Folks, let's do it right. Let's hear what Jesus said and says and follow his example. Be changed inwardly by the Spirit of God and love freely and sincerely. The show is for the circus. God wants your heart. Now may the Lord grant you peace in the midst of any storm, and faith to trust him, Look for our next podcast, and may you realize more of His grace today.